All right, a few stories for you today. I'm not going to drag this out very long, but I have a few things to talk about. First one is a big operation down in Houston with ICE. 142 criminal aliens with 473 convictions deported from Houston to Mexico. It's from Breitbart. Let's check it out. U.S. Immigration, or ICE, officers deported 142 criminal aliens to Mexico within the last 2 weeks. The group of criminal aliens arrested in Houston metro area racked up 473 separate criminal convictions. Together, the group had entered the United States illegally 180 times. So, I mean, that's a lot. 142 of these guys who are women, maybe there's some women inside there, and all these convictions racked up in almost 500 entries. Let's get into more of the details. The removals that took place between May 19th and May 30th included 8 documented gang members, 11 previously convicted child predators, and a criminal alien responsible for entering the United States more than 20 times. Goodness, you come into the country 20 times? What in the world is going on? This guy should have been deported and stayed out long time ago. There's no reason why this guy should be able to come in 20 times. In a Tuesday press release, ICE identified several of the aliens deported and their previous criminal convictions. The most egregious, if I said that correctly, egregious, there you go, offenders included Benito Zavala, a 60-year-old criminal alien from Mexico and convicted child predator, deported to Mexico on May 21st, had been convicted of continuous sexual abuse of a child. Another guy, Johnny Urbina Carrillo, a 37-year-old criminal alien from Mexico and convicted child predator, was deported to Mexico on May 20th and had illegally entered the U.S. twice and had been convicted of sexually exploiting a minor, cocaine possession, and illegal entry. Alejandro Aguilar Vasquez, a 45-year-old criminal alien from Mexico, deported to Mexico on May 19th, who has illegally entered the U.S. 19 times and convicted 3 times of cruelty towards a child and DWI, once for filing a false report and illegal entry. Jorge Arturo Silva Solano, a 35-year-old criminal alien from Mexico who was deported to Mexico May 19th, has entered the U.S. illegally 11 times and been convicted 3 times for criminal mischief and illegal entry, twice for aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, and once for a DWI, trespassing, illegal entry, failure to provide an ID to law enforcement, public intoxication, and failure to appear. Man, this guy's rap sheet is long as hell. I mean, you could apply for... Imagine if his resume had a lot of job experience, good job experience. If his resume was as long as rap sheet is, this guy could have done great things with his life, but choose life of crime. Luis Angel Garcia Contreras, a 40-year-old criminal alien from Mexico and documented Serrano's 13 gang member, was deported to Mexico on Monday, May 29th, who has illegally entered the U.S. 21 times, convicted of illegal entry 4 times. My gosh. Jose Antonio Mauricio Rodriguez, a 32-year-old criminal alien and documented Paces gang member, deported to Mexico May 27th, who has illegally entered the U.S. 11 times and been convicted of assault with a deadly weapon, domestic violence, failure to provide an ID to law enforcement, failure to report to his parole officer, and illegal reentry twice. Among the criminal offenses of that group that have been convicted of were 11 child sex offenses, 21 weapon violations, 48 drug trafficking or drug-related offenses, 30 for burglary and theft-related crimes, 3 for child cruelty, 43 aggravated assault, domestic violence-related convictions, and others. That's pretty scary stuff. Pretty scary Hello, Bill Gates. Good to see you today. Pretty scary stuff that these guys were living down the Houston area. Look, Houston makes an appearance on this channel quite a bit, quite often. But all these guys, these gang banging thugs, were down there wreaking havoc on the community. So you get rid of 143 of these people, and the streets of Houston just got that much safer. All right, I have another story for you related to the border here in Texas. It's from the Texas scorecard. Hope you can see this. All right. Texas scorecard. One big, beautiful bill includes reimbursement for Texas Operation Lone Star. This is great news. Texas has spent a lot of money on that, trying to secure the border. And thankfully, we might get reimbursed for that. I want to see some of that back. This is coming out of our pockets here. All right. The provision which passed the U.S. House with billions allocated for Texas border security operations has passed a committee hurdle to stay in the Senate version. Let's read this article here. Federal lawmakers include a provision to reimburse Texas border security efforts in the U.S. Senate's version of President Donald Trump's One Big Beautiful Bill. On Thursday, U.S. Senator John Cornyn, this is good that this happened, but he's got to go. We have to get Ken Paxton in there. He'll smoke John Cornyn in the primaries. It won't be a problem. He praised the measure, which includes $13.5 billion in total for Texas and other states that spend large sums to protect their borders during the Biden administration. In two letters earlier this year, Governor Greg Abbott requested that the federal government reimburse Texas for around $11 billion spent on Operation Lone Star during the Biden administration. This is a win for Governor Abbott and the Texas Republican congressional delegation, who I worked with closely to ensure this reimbursement was made a priority and did not leave the people of Texas on the hook for the cost of Biden's failed border policies, said the Rhino senator. I was proud to lead with this push in the Senate and look forward to voting for the One Big Beautiful Bill with this border security reimbursement for Texas included in the coming weeks. I wonder if this Rhino here is trying to drum up support ahead of the primaries because he knows that he's going to get smoked. He knows he's going to get smoked by Ken Paxton. So he's going to get behind this bill. He's going to get Texas $13.5 billion reimbursed. So I don't know. He's going to lose regardless. For months, U.S. House lawmakers struggled to pass One Big Beautiful Bill, which, among other things, would permanentize the 2017 Trump tax cuts. However, in late May, U.S. representatives were able to pass the measure by one vote, 215 to 14. All right, so that pretty much covers the part there about Texas getting reimbursed for Operation Lone Star. Do you think that Texas should be reimbursed for that, for Biden's failure at the border? I think we should. I mean, we could use some of this money towards property tax relief, other things, infrastructure. A lot of things could be used for that. So, but I'm excited about this primary coming up with the senator and Ken Paxton, who's actually smoking him pretty badly right now in the polling. But I have another story for you. I told you I'm going to run through this quickly. But Houston mayor is trying to crack down on traffic safety. This is from publication down in Houston. Houston mayor announces new traffic safety initiative aimed at curbing road rage and reckless driving. A lot of crazy drivers in Texas. I know all of you watching know that. For those of you who live here in Texas, even a lot of people that visit the state of Texas, people that have come from Georgia, New York, that I've talked to, they all say the same thing. You guys have some crazy drivers. I mean, it's not a joke. What do you think about that? Do you think we have a lot of crazy drivers here in the state of Texas? All right. Mayor John Whitmire wants Houstonians to know help is on the way when it comes to dangerous driving on Houston's roads. The mayor announced a new traffic safety initiative this week, focusing on reducing reckless driving, road rage, and speeding across major highways, including I-45 and US 59. As part of a new effort, HPD is increasing traffic enforcement along major highways. Let's see if this video will. No, Instagram. Let me try to play this real quick.
I'm pleased to announce that we currently have a traffic safety initiative on Highway 45 and 59 through Houston. And this is just the beginning. This came about because I share Houstonians' concern about irresponsible driving. We intend to go across Houston and let individuals know that we will not tolerate road rage, speeding.
Our officers are taking proactive steps to reduce road rage and unsafe driving through enhanced enforcement and community outreach. We're committed to making our roads safer. Please drive responsibly and report aggressive behavior.
As we continue to build up the number of HPD officers, we're going to focus more and more on traffic enforcement. With increased recruiting and retention of HPD officers, you're going to see more enforcement. We want to improve traffic safety in Houston, Texas. So thank you. We will now go to work.
Well, that's good to know, because there are a lot of incidents here in the state. In 2024 alone, Texas reported 73 road rage incidents, leaving 26 people dead and 53 others injured, according to the statewide analysis. A total of 84 people were shot in road rage incidents last year, with 28 killed and 56 injured. Officials are also urging drivers to stay calm in traffic, avoid aggressive driving, and report any threatening behavior to law enforcement. I mean, I would love to see something like this across the state, because I think it's out of control. For one, we have, some of these illegal aliens are committing some of these acts, but it's not just them, it's other people too. People that have been in Texas for years. A lot of them that were born here drive crazy as hell. I see it all the time. People tailgating and cutting people off, going 15, 20 miles over the speed limit. I mean, people drive stupid out here. And it's scary, because you don't want to do anything that's going to get you into an altercation. Somebody's driving recklessly. You have to be careful, because they might be sick in the head. So you don't want to do anything that's going to piss somebody off and they'll blow your brains out on the road. Look, I try to avoid blowing my horn at people. I don't do hand gestures. I don't flip people off, nothing like that. Somebody's acting stupid, I just keep on moving. Get as far away as possible. I'm trying to make it home. All right. So we are going to go to another story here. This is actually this is very sad. 4 people arrested as 11-year-old boy found dead. This is out in Wiley, Texas, here in North Texas. 11-year-old boy's family waited 8 hours before calling 911.
Wiley police say an 11-year-old boy found unconscious in his home showed signs of physical abuse before his death. Arrested 4 of the victim's adult family members, and Fox 4 Stephen Dial has the latest on this case. Stephen.
Steve, there's still a lot we don't know, but Wiley investigators say all 4 of the suspects, as you mentioned, are family members of the 11-year-old boy, and they say that he had multiple bruises on his body. Monday, Wiley police were called to a home on Long Meadow Road for an unresponsive child. When EMS arrived, the 11-year-old boy had no pulse and was later pronounced
on their body, physical injuries.
4 adults were aunt and 2 cousins.
The stories that the family members were giving us were injuries on the young man when we found him. So that combination of factors led us to dig deeper to find out what exactly happened.
Investigators removed other children from the home. We don't know their ages or how many, but investigators there.
To see a young man lose his life from a family member, that's us all. It brings pain to us all, because there are other kids inside the house that have possibly heard or witnessed something. And so now they're stuck with this for the rest of their life.
And those people, the 4 adults who were arrested, they're facing 2 charges, but they could also face more charges as this investigation goes on. Again, the other children who were in the home are in CPS custody, and more about this tragedy. Steve.
All right, we'll look forward to that information. Stephen Dial, live.
Crazy stuff. Tragic story. You hate to hear stories like that. I don't know what the point of that was, abusing that young boy and then giving him sleeping pills and then waiting 8 hours to call the police, to call 911. Sickening stuff. But there are those No Kings protests going on today. And how is, like Trump said, how is he a king and he has to jump through all these hoops to get anything done? I mean, normally a king is supposed to just do whatever the hell he wants to, right? But you have a lot of leftists out there that don't understand that. The media is pushing this nonsense. The media is making this a lot worse. You have these ICE agents being vilified. Yeah. Sad stuff right there, Bill Gates. ICE agents being vilified by the left, by the media, calling them Nazis and all these crazy things. And they're interfering with operations, putting people's lives in danger. These protests are going to accomplish nothing. They're not going to accomplish anything. They're going to keep doing these ICE operations. They're going to keep arresting criminals and people that really should not be here. Now, I did see that Trump is pivoting. I don't know if you heard about this. That Trump is, let's see if I have this here actually. I think I have the story right here. I do. I was able to get, I have to make an account for this. I was able to read it a little bit earlier. But apparently Trump has shifted his focus on the raids. He's going to avoid what it sounds like is pause the hotel raids, meat packing, meat processing plants, and farms, and try to get some things worked out because it could be impacting those business owners in a way. So I don't know how you feel about this. I do think the criminals are the number one priority, and anybody that came under Joe Biden should be a top priority. The last 4 years, before January 20th, however many people came to this country, I think that should be a priority, especially the violent criminals. As far as all the other stuff, look, we have no control of this, but I think he's going to try to work something out where he can work with these farmers and these business owners and find a pathway for them to get some kind of visa or something, just so it won't do too much damage to the economy. That's what I got from that article when I read it. And they won't be able to hit their 3,000 a day goal. They might be able to get 1,500, but if you knock off that entire block, then you're not going to reach those 3,000 a day. But I don't know. Maybe that's a good idea. It could be. I mean, I don't know. We'll see how it plays out. I know that it's a touchy subject, and these business owners, but they could find high schoolers, 16, 17-year-olds to work in their plants and their farms, or they could bring people in on work visas for a season, send them back home. There are different things. There are different ways to go about this. You cut off some of these entitlement programs that American citizens are on, put them back into the workforce, and then there you go. Those jobs are available for them. There was another story in Omaha, Nebraska, where there was a raid, a workplace operation, and got rid of 70, I think it was 70 or 100 employees. And the owner's like, well, I didn't know. I usually verify, and they used the wrong name. But did this guy not know what was going on? And he basically has to hire an entire crew for his business. So you mean to tell me this guy had no idea that all of his employees were illegal aliens using false identification? I don't know. I think it's pretty suspect. He's not going to get in trouble for it, apparently, but I think they are going to work with him. Sure, wish I could play that for you. I don't have it pulled up. But they're going to work with to get people hired the right way. I don't know. If you have 100 employees there and all of them are illegal, I think there's something else going on. I have to go, so I'm going to leave that right there. I just want to give you a quick update on a few stories throughout the state of Texas. There wasn't a whole lot going on. I just found these few stories here, but it wasn't that busy of a week here in Texas. We have these protests going on, which are going to accomplish nothing, like I said. And I will leave that right there. So like and subscribe, and I will see you on the next one. Thank you. Take care.